Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined by Josh Bowe. Josh is broadcasting with the light on because the Dallas Mavericks just won 116 to 114 in overtime against the Detroit Pistons in a truly preposterous basketball game. This will be a fun one to talk about. I don't even really know where to start. Josh, how are you?
Doing okay. I've always wanted to know what a knife fight masquerading as a basketball game would look like, and I got to see my wish in that fourth quarter. I enjoyed it, actually. I mean, no stoppages. Like, the stoppages were kept to a minimum. The Mavericks shot 36 free throws in this game, and I think they shot after that 36 free throws, and I think only a few of them came. I don't think they shot any in the fourth or overtime.
Hollowell said right at the end they shot 30 free throws in the first three quarters.
Okay, so they finished with,
and if they finished with 36,
yeah, so
they shot six, and yeah.
And I mean, I know Mavs fans are going to be pissed off because they want them to call the fouls, and I understand, but I kind of like the not calling fouls and letting these guys beat the shit out of each other for a little bit. It was fun. It was intense. I mean, that was playoff intensity that you typically do not see right before Christmas and New Year's. So that was fun. Got to see what Cooper Flagg would respond to a game like that. Coming off that loss in Utah as well. He responded. I mean, it was a great win. I don't know where you want to go with first, but I mean, that's Detroit's one of the best teams in the East. I think the Mavericks are just a good team now. I think everyone just kind of has to accept that. Like,
yeah, I was text messaging with a frenemy of the program, Matt Moore, and I just said that I wonder at what point teams flip out of their reverse psychology here, or whatever's going on, where every team the Mavs play against for a while now approach the game like the Mavs suck, and then they get punched in the mouth pretty early, and then it's a fight. And you know, we're having an internal discussion, Mavs Moneyball, kind of about intentions of what the team and organization want to do. And the bottom line is this roster, as it's currently constructed, simply has too much talent to die. Like, there are going to be games where their offense is horrible, but they play so hard on defense. And when Anthony Davis is in the game at center, controlling basically the 8 feet around the rim, because he knows that if he has to step out a little further, you have Flagg and PJ, you know, coming to basically cover the area for short stints. Like, the Pistons had nothing inside. No. I mean, I know they scored a ton in the paint.
That's because they got 25 offensive rebounds.
That's right. And that's a different thing. And the Pistons are good at it. And I don't want to lambast the Mavs for something that is kind of by design. I mean, you'd like to see some better rebounding and maybe they'll get there, but the Pistons are just kind of good at it. But the shot attempts on the first attempt, a lot of them were like awful. And you know,
Detroit had nothing. Like you said, they shot 39%. They were 18% from three. And really, it felt worse than that. Like, I was shocked they even made 6 3-pointers in that game. Like, when I look at the final stats, I mean, the Mavericks gave them nothing, absolutely nothing.
I have watched Cade Cunningham for a long time. I have never seen Cade hit 3-pointers. Like, I don't. it feels like a bit like Luka in year 2, where Luka was putting up amazing numbers, but he just wasn't hitting on the 3 ball. Every game it just feels, and of course I could be forgetting something, but it's funny watching him play where they just need one more guy that can shoot from the outside. That's kind of their closing piece is my takeaway from the Pistons, but they just bludgeon you. And you know, Cade was getting some pretty decent looks inside, and I know I just said the Mavs didn't allow them anything, but that's because he's a good basketball player. If his shot attempts are the best you can. They had nothing within the flow of their offense. Nothing. And it was really something to behold. And I've been pretty kind of questionable about the Mavericks defensive points this year. This game was not that, because, you know, it's physical. It's good defense. I was really pleased with the effort. And I just don't think this team is going to really go anywhere in terms of laying down at any point soon. I mean, yeah, they're pretty far down the standings. You're 11 and 17, 6 games under 500 is not good. And they have quite the hole that they're like trying to dig themselves out of. But
I mean, the 8th place Warriors are 13 and 14 right now. Like,
right. And you and I have done this together more or less since the 2019 season. So like we're in the middle of like year 6 or year 7 of doing these game podcasts. And the thing that I always worry about, and I know you worry about, is am I going to be engaged enough with this team to keep watching and keep coming up with things to talk about? We're at game 28 now. We're game 28. That was what that was. And every game there's something. Very rare. We've had maybe 3 duds all year, and that's going to happen. And I was expecting the Mavs to get whooped this game. I mean, the Pistons are a good basketball team. They're a very good basketball team. So the fact that they just show up and compete every night, it bodes well for like the long-term Mav stuff, even if half these guys aren't on the team in 2 years. But it just, it starts and ends with Cooper Flagg. He is, his stat line isn't really anything to write home about tonight, but for what feels like there was I need to pull this up in my Twitter feed, but he has, can you filibuster for a second? I want to pull up a stat that somebody put in my timeline that I looked at.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about them not wasting your time, what you're kind of going at. They've played 28 games and they've played 4 uncompetitive games in those 28 games. Now, I made this point before. That's not to say they only have 4 bad losses. They have more than 4 bad losses, because I don't care if if you lose to Washington, if you lose a close game to Washington, if you lose a close game to New Orleans, that's a bad loss. I don't care how close the score is. But in terms of uncompetitiveness, they've only played 4 uncompetitive games. They've only played 1 uncompetitive game since a November 22nd loss to Memphis. So that's basically 1 blowout loss that they had no chance in about a month, which they have 17 losses. Like they've played 28 games, they have 17 losses, and only 4 of them have been uncompetitive. Like, this is a weird team in that, I mean, they are not an 11 and 17 team. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, their net rating on cleaning the glass has been, I think they're like 11th. What are they right now? They are they are 5th in net rating over the last 2 weeks, and that's including the Oklahoma City loss. I mean, they're playing well, and it's not shocking, because we both talked about before the season, like, even if we both kind of thought this isn't a team we don't think can be a contender, we both also thought like the doom and gloom is probably a little too hard, because they just have too many good players. Like, that we weren't like, maybe they're not going to be a contender, but they're not going to be bottom 3 in the conference, because unless something goes wrong with injuries, because they roll out. I mean, every team they play besides maybe like the Thunder and maybe Denver, like, their depth is better than a lot of these teams. I mean, their depth is better than the Pistons, I would argue.
Professional basketball players.
Now the Pistons top end, they got Cade and they got Asur, they got Duren. Like, their starters are probably, you could argue, are better, but like, you just look at the Mavericks lineup and it's like, okay, you start Davis, Washington, Najee, Cooper. You go into your bench, Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson, Brandon Williams, Max Christie. Like, they don't have like weak links like some of these other teams have, where it's like the Pistons played Javonte Green for 18 minutes and he was bad.
Yep.
They had to play Marcus Sasser and some of these guys who are like, okay, but it's like, I don't know. The Mavericks seemingly, they don't overwhelm you with maybe the primo talent, although obviously Anthony Davis is really good and Cooper Flagg's really good, but they just don't go stretches where they have these lineups that feel like they aren't going anywhere. Right now that they've moved on from playing 80 at the 4. That's that's the key part of it too.
Well, and I found the stat, and this is as of yesterday, so it does not include tonight's clutch time, where I don't know what Cooper shot, but I do know that he had another field goal to give the Maverick. He had back-to-back buckets in that closing run in the fourth, right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, he had the potential game winner too at the end before.
So that's what this stat that I pulled up is. Cooper, Flagg, and clutch time in the most game tying or lead taking shots in the final 5 minutes of a season. Before tonight, he was 12 of 17 in those situations, which is leading the league. Cade Cunningham was second, and SGA and Maxey were also second. And I was kind of just rambling about Coop because he had you look at his stat line. If somebody didn't watch tonight's game, they probably see, you tune in, you go, okay, he has 23 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, pretty good line, not very efficient. But the efficiency, the shots he was getting off were the kind of, he's taken like these drives at the rim, drawing 2 and 3 guys, and he got AD probably 8 points on putbacks just by putting it up on the rim in a way where AD could go and get it. And the 2 buckets that he made down the stretch, 2 of his 8 in the that was, one of them should have basically been the game winning basket. Only Isaiah Stewart got fouled on a kind of a wonky loose ball situation, sent the game into overtime. The shot that he made that was a game winner was awesome. It was awesome.
Pull up midi.
Yes,
this guy.
That's the kind of game, that area of the floor. I don't want to call it a lost art, but it's like the best players in the NBA get and make those shots right now. That's where your SGAs of the world make a living. That's where your Jokic's, people who are really good at these 2-point shots that are not really the most efficient shot. They're not long twos. They're not like what we're talking about here, but it's just a difficult shot that you have to get in when the game slows down. And one of the things that we reasonably lamented whenever Luka Doncic was traded away is like, we're not gonna have a guy to go to in these situations. Like, that was a thing because Luka was good at these things. And the fact that Cooper is in this situation already where he feels so comfortable with the ball in these situations, it's remarkable to watch. And I was having a Twitter discussion today. Through 30 games, I am more impressed with Cooper than I was with Luka. Maybe it's because I think it's largely because my expectations were different. Like, I kind of was all in on Luka very early and knew he was going to be a star, but that roster was difficult and he was, figuring out how to play NBA basketball. The difference is I don't think we'll ever see Luka's second year was amongst the most impressive things we will ever see in the NBA, and it's just kind of lost to time due to the COVID year. But Cooper he's really remarkable. Like, he really helped control this game because the Mavericks, once again, Brandon Williams was a little wonky tonight. I felt not awful by any stretch, but just the physicality of the Pistons. He's not exactly the stoutest guy. Ryan Nembhard, I wonder what happened to him. Like, he did not.
That was interesting because they were playing very well with him on the floor. I mean, he had 7 assists, 2 turnovers. He was scoring okay. Like he wasn't relying on jumper. Like, he beat Cade off the dribble to score at the rim in the first quarter. And I was like, okay. So I don't know what happened there in the second half in the fourth quarter. Not that Williams was bad, but it was just, I don't know what Nembhard did to not finish.
Wait, 22 minutes is odd. Like, I wonder if they are looking at some numbers and some things that we don't see because I wonder his minute total rare. I guess he did play a ton in the Utah game. 7 assists, 2 turnovers. Like, he played a fine game. And Williams also Williams got to the line a bunch.
Williams was fine. It's more just he kind of played the entire fourth quarter, it felt like, in overtime, and I'm just wondering what happened there. But
right. Just okay.
But Cooper was great. Yeah, I want to hit on Cooper before we go to break because I know we're going to go to break.
Please.
The box score is saying he had 0 turnovers, which is kind of weird because I think he technically had 1 at the end, unless they're calling that like a shot attempt where he kind of lost the ball, where he got fouled, but they didn't call it. So either way, though, 40 minutes in this game and only, let's say he had one turnover that the box score isn't giving him, or 0 turnovers. I mean, that's ridiculous. And by the way, toward the fourth quarter and overtime, they were kind of just giving him the ball and clearing out. So the fact that he, like, his ability to be calm under pressure, maybe he's not going to be the type of floor raiser with his passing that, like, you know, a Luka is, or, you know, a LeBron is, or some of these other, you know, big playmakers. Like maybe he doesn't have that in him, but the fact that he also doesn't throw the ball away, like, is with how much he's handling it, how much he's shooting it, how much he drives it. I mean, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And he's not even 19 yet, and he's doing that. And then the other thing I wanted to hit on, we could hit it on after the break, but the Mavericks had 15 blocks.
That was so, you know,
and Cooper had 3 of them.
I do want to hit on this after the break, because we're already at the 16-minute mark, and I don't want
let's go to break. Yeah.
All right. So guys, if you are at all interested in supporting the podcast, and I think many of you are, which we are really grateful for, here's how you do it. You listen to the ads. You could give directly by clicking one of those links, or you can grow the show with us and tell your friends to listen. We are, you know, an independent podcast, more or less. We're on a network. We're on the same network as what's the name of our network? Why is my brain?
Odyssey.
We're on Odyssey, which is like the same company that owns, like, what's the sports station here?
105.3 The Fan.
Right. We're technically a fan adjacent podcast, only those guys never talk to us. So we just kind of live in our own world here. And, you know, your support means the world to us. I will be putting those ads in, and we will be right back. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Thanks so much for listening to the ads. While I have you here, we'll be doing a Mavs party tonight. Those have not been, they're a little less sparsely attended lately. We have not as many people coming in, but I want to have that opportunity out there. If you want to talk about the game, pop in and let's talk about things. They're an interesting team. There's a lot to talk about. So if you have takes or thoughts or anything you want to discuss, please hang out and we'll do the Mavs party. Housekeeping, because I want folks to know this. Next week is going to be a weird week. The Mavericks play on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Thursday is Christmas. I am doing some travel. I've not taken really a game off yet. Josh is insisting because I'm driving across the country. So on the Monday night game, we'll have just one podcast, probably also for the Tuesday night game, one podcast. Christmas, not really sure yet. I'm going to be in a different place with a different setup, but we will have something, probably not immediately after the game, though, just because our kids will still be awake. I suspect something later in the evening on Christmas evening. So just be cognizant of that. We will. Jackson and Smith and Jigba overtime touchdown. Sorry. Big for my fantasy winnings. Anyhow. All right. So let's circle back to the stuff. We're 20 minutes into the show here, and there's a lot you could talk about. What do you want to do? Defense?
Blocking? So yeah, the blocks. They had 15 blocks.
This has to be not to circle back, but this has to be what was in Nico Harris.
This is the vision.
Like not this group, because he wanted 80.
He wanted 80 at 4. Yeah.
But the defensive minded, versatile back line is what.
Well, and also Cooper wasn't in his vision.
That's
so,
true. No matter what he says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortune favors the bold. That's right.
Yeah.
But it's the idea of an athletic back line that can protect the paint at all costs. Wow is all I really have to say to that. Wow.
Yeah. Their front court. I mean, Cooper had 3, PJ had 4, and Davis had 3. Which is funny because the Pistons scored 70 points in the paint tonight. But again, they had 30 second chance points and 25 offensive rebounds. I mean, they shot about a little under 54% in the restricted area, which is like 13% below league average. So the Mavericks did their job. They just couldn't board because that's just what Detroit does. They kind of maul you down there, and the Mavericks, that's what happened. But so credit the Mavs. Really, if the Mavericks weren't playing as good a rim defense as they were, I mean, Detroit might have had like 50 second chance points. They might have had like 80. They might have had like 90 points in the paint. The Mavericks were just all over the place. They were rotating well. I mean, in Detroit, they have no spacing. They have like Duncan Robinson didn't play for most of the second half. He was very bad in this game, but like when he went out, I mean, who are you guarding from the perimeter on this team? Like no one. So the Mavericks were able to do what they do best is pack the paint. And again, like you play Davis at the 5 and you play PJ and Cooper behind him. The versatility, when Davis isn't at the 4, like, so you've got all this shot blocking, but you're not giving up, as easy blow-bys because you're not asking Anthony Davis to chase guys out and close out on 3-point shooters. Like you've got Cooper and PJ doing that, who you'd much rather do. And then but you still don't have that disadvantage of when Davis has to come out, whether it's on the screen or rotating over. Your weak side defender is PJ or Cooper, who are tremendous shot blockers in their own right. Like there's just no disadvantage there. And I think that's like a key to their defensive philosophy. And it's been that way since they made the trades before they went to the finals. Like I think PJ, I've said this multiple times, I think he's the best weak side rim protector the league has in terms of covering for the primary rim protector. Like, I don't think there's a better, like, I think he's one of the best forwards, shot blocking forwards the league has. Like, that's the way I feel.
He would be, if he were trade eligible, he would be in every single discussion going on right now. He is he's just an ideal third guy right now. He has limitations, and I think when defenses load up on the right guys, we saw this in the finals 2 years ago. PJ is going to be overwhelmed. He's not capable of handling like the primary burden for more, against really good teams. But he just fills the box score. He does a little bit of everything every time he's out there. I mean, this stat line's hilarious. He has 13 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. Just all over the place. I mean, I couldn't be more pleased watching PJ night in and night out. Sometimes he drives me a little nuts. It's tell me if this makes sense to you, but like he and Cooper, I don't want to say they share skill sets, but like Cooper's just a little tighter with the handle, with his finishing ability, and with his shot. But the two of them on the floor together really complement one another in really functional ways, I think, on both ends of the floor.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're very similar defensive profiles in terms of what they like to do and what they're good at. But yeah, Cooper is a bit more, I mean, this sounds so silly to say comparing like an 8-year vet or whatever PJ is to an 18-year-old rookie, but like Cooper is a more polished scorer. Yep. But that's not PJ is still very good for what he does.
His role is perfect. That's really where I'm attempting to say is like his function, regardless of whether the Mavs are good or bad, it works and you see the value. And
if PJ is your third best scorer instead of your second, your team is a lot better, I think.
And I just can't help but think, depending on what direction the Mavericks choose to go, I think he's gonna command the most. He's 27. He's in either, is this year the start of his extension or does it
next season?
Next season. He's locked down through his prime at a wonderful price. The Mavericks, if no matter what course the Mavericks take, I think they're probably in good hands with PJ because he's the kind of guy I would like to see on the team. Right. He raises the floor a lot. It's fun watching him most nights. Occasionally his handle drives me insane, but you live in, not everybody can be perfect. So yeah, this is killing me. How the hell did Daniel Gafford have 5 turnovers in 16 minutes?
He brought the ball down a lot.
Okay.
When he was near the basket and the Pistons, and again, since there was no fouls getting called in the end of the game, he had a couple there in the fourth. I think he had a couple elsewhere in the game. But yeah, that's what your sixth grade coach tells you, right?
Yes.
Don't bring the ball down. And you're taller than everyone else. My coach would kill me whenever.
Oh, Parker is just dying with this lately. He's a pretty good rebounder because he's just physical, but he gets the ball and he bends at the waist, and I'm just like, stop it, keep it here. Keep it here. Don't hurt anybody with elbows, but keep it here. It's he'll learn one day. But the Pistons are so like Duren is just such a hoss. Like watching that guy move around, he I'm sure the Pistons are real pissed about the foul situation in this game. I think they might have had some pretty good arguments in the first half. You and I normally we don't really like talking about the refs either way, but the reffing was
it was a weird game.
Yeah.
But I did like the fourth and overtime. I know.
Yeah, those were great. I don't think it the one Duren at the very end there, they showed it so many times. He gets the offensive rebound, and I think he just loses the ball. I don't really I thought Davis was absolutely like holding his arm, but then he pulls away from Davis and gets a shot and tries to get the shot, and the ball just rolls out.
I know.
It's great. It was great. There's constant discussion with this Mavs team because everyone and their uncle quite reasonably has the position of the Mavs need to build around Cooper Flagg. So when you watch this and the Mavs draft situation, you're like, I love watching them, but the ideal outcome is the Mavs play hard and then lose close. We talked about this earlier in the show. I just think they're too good right now.
Yeah.
They're just not, this isn't going to happen that much. So
if AD stays on the floor and he keeps playing center and Cooper doesn't get hurt, whatever they bet, this is like, it feels like, knock on wood, this is like the healthiest stretch of games they've had in a while. And we say that with, Derek Lively suffering, season ending surgery and all that stuff. But AD's been upright for mostly. And
let's talk about AD. That's the one guy we didn't really talk about much here. What his game? Sorry, of course, my dogs. This is just an ongoing bit with my dogs deciding to drink water only when I podcast. Huck, are you serious right now? the Davis. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. They have to stop treating him like a first option on offense.
They did in the fourth quarter.
Not in the fourth quarter, no, but in the first half,
I know
it's like, let's go to the AD ISO. If he just plays in the damn dunker spot, he's gonna get 15 points a game. That's what he did in the second half, and that's where he scores.
But he's not a dunker spot player, Kirk.
I don't fucking care. Like that's got to be one perk of having an asshole like Jason Kidd in charge, where it's like someone needs to be like, look, you're getting paid $1 gazillion. Who cares how you get your points so long as you do? Because everyone knows he can't shoot. Anthony Davis discussions drive me crazy because they were almost all of the discussions center around a player who he has never been, a player who can shoot. He has 6-game stretches where he's hot. But this was a great game or a great example of let's just do what he's good at, and he's going to impact the box score. He was 0 for 8 at one point, and he finished. What did he finish here?
I think he finished 6 of his next or 7 of his next 9 or something.
7 of 8. So that means he started 0 for 8 and finished 7 of 10. That's fantastic. Like in
the fourth quarter and overtime, I don't think it was the Cooper show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the Cooper show. Like you said, almost all of AD's points were off putbacks, assisted plays near the rim, cleaning up, being a little bit of a garbage man.
Do you know how great it feels to be able to have like Anthony Davis as a release valve under the rim?
Yeah.
Like that's got to be amazing. Because, let's be honest. Most bigs, this is just bigs. This is the state of the world. Most bigs, you throw them a bounce pass on a drive, it's going off their knees, going off their hands. They're getting fouled. They're getting slapped. That ball gets in AD's hands down there. He's probably scoring because he's just unbelievable around the rim. Yeah. I just don't. It vexes me so much because he's a great basketball player that doesn't want to play the way that makes him great on offense. Defense, whole nother
defense.
Story.
He was good start to finish.
He's a monster. Like this is great stuff. Like this AD can play till he's 37 years old when he's down there doing this sort of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just needed to kind of get that off my chest.
What was crazy was they built like a 16-point lead in the first half with him not making any shots. So
yes.
and that goes back to him he was great defensively, and then everyone else was really good too. I mean, the Mavericks controlled this game. I mean, this should have been a blowout.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, like Detroit had nothing this game. The Mavericks kind of kicked their ass for most of it, and then Detroit got back into it because they just kind of they junked the game up.
That's right.
And they got back into it, and the refs allowed it to be junked up, which is fine. It happens. I'm kind of glad. Like it was fun to see Cooper. Like, hey, how are you going to handle a game like this? And he was fine.
Did you see? So he becomes the third 18-year-old ever to score 500 points before
just behind
19.
Kobe and LeBron.
And that's kind of a calendar thing. Like those records will likely never get broken because the NBA has like a literal age limit now that unless they take that away.
Yeah, because Kobe and LeBron were like true. 18.
Yeah.
Like they didn't turn 18 till 19 till like.
Remember when Jermaine O'Neal and Andrew Bynum were drafted when they were 17? Like those sorts of things. You go and look at this stuff, and you're like, wait, what? How did that even happen? It's a great deal. Okay. 6:00 game on Saturday. Can't tell you how excited I am about that because that means we'll be in here at 8:30, which means we'll be out of here by 9, which means I can watch television with my wife. Boom. Really excited for that one. Anything else you want to hit before we get out of here?
No, that was just a fun game. I had fun watching it. More of the games are like that.
I agree. Head over to Mavs Moneyball. We had two very good pieces, one of which I knew was coming because Meta writes every week, and then our buddy Brent turned in a column that serves as like a nice. The two columns work really well together, despite being about slightly different subjects. And I don't want to spoil what they are, but just head over to Mavs Moneyball and look below the fold because we publish a lot of stuff. But look for Brent Brooks's column and Meta Robinson's column, and they're quite good.
Yes, they are.
So hang out if you want to join Mavs Party. Josh is going to go do some editing, and then we'll be back around. See you guys on Saturday night. Go Mavs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pod Maverick presents Mavs Party, but apparently I didn't click the media asset. Where did that thing go? Nope. We're not group therapy. We're Mavs Party. For those of you unfamiliar, this is the show where you can hop in here, talk with me, give your takes. This was a really fun game, and we should celebrate the small things, even if it is a December victory. I like feeling good about a game in the middle of December. It's actually quite nice. We got Patrick, Killicam, Glenn, and Doe waiting. So, if you want to come in here and talk, you better get in line. Just remember, I go to everyone that I can. If it's a name that I don't recognize, I might bump them closer to the top because we do have a wonderful group of folks that tend to join me every few games. But I want everybody to feel like they can talk here because that was the whole reason for this show existing, because it's much more fun than screaming on social media. Patrick, what's going on?
Hello. Okay, so I have a couple of soapboxes I want to get on. First, I just want to talk about this game. The soapboxes aren't so much about this game. So I've been overworked the last couple of days, so I took a anxiety Klonopin to really chill out, and I'm glad I took it because that game was stressful. I got so mad. Like Jenkins, he pissed me off so much. I got so mad about like a game that doesn't really matter in December, but like at least I feel something.
That's why we watch sports. That's
exactly.
Good. Yes, that's great.
So I thought the first three quarters were poorly officiated, but in our favor. And then in the end, it ended with a bloodbath, as we know. And it really felt like when you watch a baseball game and the umpire just changes their established strike zone mid-game, and you're like, just stay consistent. And it didn't happen. Even the robots sucked because that Cooper goaltend was not a goaltend. At least according to hitting the backboard, it wasn't. I don't think it was on its way down. I don't know.
I just liked watching that play like 35 times. That was such a cool play. This is my read.
Yeah, it was a cool play because he blocked the damn ball and didn't goaltend it. And then he got blocked, I think, by Stewart late game. I think it was in the fourth. And that was a goaltending. The ball was on the way down, but it was a beastly looking block. But I think it was slightly on the way down. But I think we were like past the point of the game being stopped ever. But something that I've noticed about this team now that we have a pretty decent sample size is that they remind me of like the Romo era Cowboys and maybe even early Dak, where we always play up or down to the competition. And that's how you end seasons 8 and 8, like 4 times in a row. And I think that bodes well for the next couple of years because we're not healthy. And we also have like huge money sinks with Kyrie and AD taking up like at least a third of the cap. So I feel pretty decent about our outlook. I also want to say real quick, people keep fucking saying we don't have picks for the next 5 years. That's not true. We don't control our picks for the next 5 years. Very important distinction. Anyway, one problem I have with long-term is I don't think AD will want to play the 5 long-term, and I honestly don't think he'll hold up if he does.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's my actual concern more than anything is the hold up. Like, because if he could play 25 minutes at center and 10 at the 4, I think that's something where everybody could figure it out. But this was, the center minutes, like the fact that he probably sprained his ankle on that final play.
Don't pass it to him in like they're gonna hit the guy. Don't give it to him of all people. But I've been very eager about this little rumor of Gafford for Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers.
I like that one.
I think I like it so much that there's no way they say yes to that. But if they want to, but
that seems correct to me. It doesn't make sense to me. But Mathurin would just this team. He's such a psycho. Mathurin is. He would fit right in.
What I don't understand is why maybe I don't understand their cap situation. Maybe I just don't understand like their outlook for the next 5 years. But I don't know why they don't want to pay him. Like, what's wrong with him? He was a 6th overall pick. He's getting better. He's still super young. So I mean, are they in like a Brunson situation?
My thought on that one has to be a Carlisle thing.
Like
Rick,
yeah.
Certain guys and Rick just Rick just wears out welcome. And, we saw with Luka Doncic and Rick, so it wouldn't shock me. And, they just need a big. That's the other part. They look at, and they're looking ahead, and Gafford's cost controlled. So that's why.
Well, that would really force AD at the 5 for sure. Cause then what's like Dwight Powell and Cisse temporarily.
I would kind of love to see more Cisse though.
Yeah, but then we can't see any more of him because he's got,
that's
the
true.
clock
But
is
if
ticking.
they find a way to free up roster spots, they will be able to sign these guys. Like the Mavs are playing a bit of a dangerous game here with some of these roster things where they're going to run right up to the edge of guys like 50 game availability for 2 ways, and then they're going to. I think that Dante Exum isn't going to be a Mav. Like, there's just no way. Like, they're going to have to cut him.
He's not going to be in the NBA.
Yeah, but they're just going to have to cut him to free up the roster spot to keep this guy,
Yeah. Well, the goal is just to make the books look good in year 3 of Cooper, and maybe sign Luka after he refuses the play option. I'm just kidding. But I just want us to do it right this time. I don't want us to rush it. I want us to do it right. Even if we don't acquire picks, at least like have money available to have flexibility to make signings or like trade decisions.
Sure.
So that's my soapbox about now. And then you guys did this thing that I loved where you talk about Mavs of years lore or whatever, years past. So I got a couple. You guys already talked about Brandon Wright, but you missed a very important aspect of Brandon Wright's career, which is that he's the guy that dunked the ball when Dirk said, "Shut it down, let's go home." And every time I hear that, I think of Brandon Wright.
Yeah, that man had pogo sticks for legs.
But the guy I want to shout out real quick is I don't understand why his name was pronounced the way it was, but Sagana Diop. I took 4 years of French, and I can't explain to you why we don't pronounce the D in Desagana Diop. But Game 7, of course, against the Spurs, shut down Timmy and OT. I'm looking at the shot chart. We got it. Tim Duncan misses layup. Tim Duncan misses layup. Tim Duncan blocked 5-footer by Sagana Diop. Tim Duncan misses 8-foot jumper. Tim Duncan misses 9-foot jumper. Tim Duncan didn't score the entire overtime. He also missed a 3, but I'm not going to give Job credit for that. I don't know why he was taking that. Funnily enough,
he was like he was thinking I have to go to the 3-point line because Sagana Diop has stopped me.
Well, he should have tried to bank the 3-point shot. Maybe that would have gone in. But Sagana Diop actually outscored Tim Duncan because he got a dunk assisted by Jason Terry. And funnily enough, Dirk didn't score a bucket in that overtime. It was mostly Jerry Stackhouse.
Mm-hmm. That was the game where like Stack just sort of lives in my brain for that one. Good take. Good call.
And just to wrap up the Diop saga, I've mentioned before Keith Van Horn being traded to get us Kid, which got us a championship. So shout out Keith Van Horn. But Sagana Diop was also in that trade. So shout out for that. And then I completely forgot this happened, but like a year later, we signed him to a 6-year contract, and then we just traded him like immediately. 6-year contracts for guys like who score 3 points a game, that doesn't happen anymore.
Look, man. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, so how old would you have been in like when Dirk was drafted?
So I was 13 in 06. He was drafted in 98, so I would have been 5. Okay. I didn't watch ball when he was drafted. I watched him when we changed logos.
For fun, go look at the basketball reference pages from like 1999 to 2003, and you'll see that every year the Mavericks were so scared of Shaquille O'Neal that there are at least 4 guys on the roster who are there specifically to get fouls for Shaq. It's very fun.
Yeah, but this was 2009.
I know, but just like I think that Cuban had like just a perpetual, like, not like fetish is not the right word, but he had like just we have to have a center that works thing. And then of course they get Tyson in 2011 and let him walk immediately. It's just the most classic Mavs shit of all time. So,
and yet I'll still take that over Dumont, I think, but I'll pass the torch on to the next person.
You're the man. All right. Coming up next is friend Kill Cam, who's come in here and kept me company a couple of nights. Mr. Cam, what's going on tonight? How are you?
Oh, that game was crazy.
Yeah.
Man. Cool, man. Like, and there's a play in the beginning of the third quarter. By the way, like the Pistons are one of my secondary teams, so I watch them a lot.
They're fun.
But I can tell like JD had like a off game, but still. There's a play in the third quarter where Cooper out-muscled Jadon Durant for a rebound. It was insane. And then tonight, and Cade is probably like either my top or one of my favorite non-Mavs players.
Sure.
And plus, great. Like he's from the area, so like, man, he's a good dude. He's cold, so like I would follow him, but. And Cade right now is a top 10 player, arguably top 5 in the NBA, and it's probably the clutch player of the year. And Coop went band for band with him in the clutch today. Like, this dude is insane. Like, he out-muscled Jalen Durant for a rebound at 18 years old. And then he went band for band in the clutch with a top 10, arguably top 5 player, and arguably the clutch player of the year. Are you kidding me? And then his final 2 buckets were over arguably the top rim protecting center in Isaiah Stewart.
They're in the East right now, absolutely. I mean, those are tough baskets.
This dude is insane, dog.
Yeah. Like,
we have to do whatever we do to be around him. But also it was funny on the final play where we're on the final play overtime where it was a regular time or overtime where AD almost got that steal, but they called it it was during overtime. And it was the final play of the regular time. Man, Jason Kidd legit which was hilarious. Like, he legit threw his hands up, and then he jumped on the announcer's table and like put it like a kid. It was hilarious. Honestly, I can't blame both coaches for being mad at the refs because this was a truly horrible ref game on both sides. But it was hilarious. He legit jumped on them. Like, he was like, "Are you kidding me?" Oh, but then when Isaiah missed, that was kind of like a bottom line moment. But guys, man, AD is just he's so complex, man. Like at some points he's really good, at some points he's really bad. Like his offense is really good and really bad at the same time. His defense is really good and really bad at the same time. Again, with his lazy closeouts. And luckily, it didn't affect us this game because Detroit was shot 6 or 33 from three this game.
So bad.
And by the way, like Detroit needs shooters, man, because Tobias Harris, gosh,
no.
Tobias, he was scoreless, and
we don't need more of a record to know that Tobias Harris is just not the guy.
Yeah, man, like gosh, he was scoreless.
Honestly, like Duncan Robinson is too much of a traffic cone. He's too easy to target. He's Klay Thompson.
Honestly, as Pistons being a secondary team, I honestly think they need to go try to trade for either MPJ or Lauri Markkinen.
I see.
And
the Markkinen's probably like he'd be a dog on this team.
Yeah, and they need to trade Tobias Harris needs to be a part of that package, man. Because he's just man, he is just he will self-score as a dog. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, in a game where they scored 114 points, that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, like if he scored maybe just 2 points, they may have won. But man, AD is just so frustrating. And then when you almost got hurt, like it's just we can't get lost. This dude cannot stay healthy. We need to trade him. Like it's hard because games like this gets the fans' hopes up. Sure. But dude, we need to trade him. Like, he cannot stay healthy, dog. And the fact that he complains so much about playing the 5, but it's obviously his best position, and he's so lazy. Yeah. And also the fact that he's just so lazy closing out shooters. Like, how can he and his team not see it? Like it's insane, man. You are A5. Embrace it, bulk up with muscle, not fat. And I do understand his point. It was like get people to help him bang down there. So because with the Lakers, it was a little later run. It was kind of like he was the only one banging down there. Sure. So he was getting annoyed. So I get him on that point, but dude, at this point,
but PJ and Flagg are around him now, and both those guys don't mind mixing it up in the paint. They don't mind.
Yeah, especially Flagg. Flagg out muscle Jalen Durant for a rebound. Yeah, at 18 years old.
I like this. I like
insane. And I get it. It was an off game for JD, man, but still, that is insane. This dude is so special. And then also, Jason Kidd almost blew the game by not replacing B-Will with Max Christie because in the fourth quarter, man, no one could hit a 3 to save their lives. Like I didn't, man. I was just so frustrated with that. But luckily, like Cooper bailed us out. But gosh, that was just a horrible game plan not game plan, but decision by J Kidd to leave B-Will out there and not replace him with Max Christie. It's just, but I get it. B-Will was playing decent in the third quarter, but dude, he could not hit a shot, man.
No, but he was getting the line, and the Mavericks didn't need that, so that was helpful.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, you got anything else for us?
Man, like, do whatever it takes to wait around Cooper because this dude,
he's a man.
Extremely special. Yeah. Out muscle Jalen Durant, and then when band for band in the clutch with arguably the clutch player of the year. And a top 10, arguably top 5 player.
I'm going to argue with you about the clutch player of the year thing. Were you listening to Josh and I's first show?
A little bit, but like.
Okay, so in clutch time with 5 minutes to go or less, in game tying or leading situation, Coop has more made field goals than Cade Cunningham. Cade's second, but Coop is number 1.
But that shows you, like, this dude is unbelievably special and. Yeah. I do not care about AD's feelings at all. I'm sorry, dude, but do whatever you have to do to butt around Cooper, man, because this dude is special. He is extremely special, dog. He out-rebounded Jalen Durant at 18 years old. Out-muscled him. Jalen Durant is 6'10", 250 of pure muscle,
He's
and
a big man.
he out muscled him for a rebound.
He is a very big
Like,
man.
Cooper is so special, dog.
That's right.
Like, oh my god! And then he had two. Like, he went back to back on Isaiah Stewart for the go ahead buckets in overtime. That is extremely special.
I love that you're this psyched, man. Well, let's talk soon, okay? We'll be
Yes,
here
sir.
after the Sixers game on
Yes,
Saturday.
sir. Thank you. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Talk to you. Okay, coming up next, my buddy Glenn. Oh, where's the button? There it is. Glenn.
Greetings, Kirk. How you doing tonight? What a great game.
You're up late.
Yes. What is it? No, it's at 9:20 here.
9:30,
It's just about another 20 or 30 minutes before I go to bed. I'm gonna Blackie Sherrod you tonight. You know what that means?
Tell me.
He was a very famous Dallas sports writer who had a column on Sundays that started off with scatter shooting while wondering whatever happened to, and then he would throw out an obscure name. And that was back when we only had two newspapers in Dallas, the Dallas Morning News and the Dallas Times Herald. And so, it was a big news. Writers were famous people.
I remember when I'd never read him, but I just looked him up. I remember when he passed away. Lived to be 97. My goodness.
Oh, did he? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for him. Great takes tonight. Patrick was on fire. That guy had some really great takes. So did the last guy. Let me ask you a question first off here. I'm fascinated by, would you trade Cooper Flagg for Cade Cunningham straight up?
That's a good one. Yes. But not for this Mavericks team. Like, this Mavericks team is just in a different spot. You know, the injury to Lively really took the wind out of a lot of my sail in terms of like what I thought. No, just because there's depth to the big man. And, you know, it's all these guys kind of were theoretically supposed to work in concert. I mean, you're asking me this because it's the question would then become like, okay, you're kind of getting a Luka adjacent type player to replace, and then if Kyrie was still healthy, maybe. There's some fans talking in my mentions already on Twitter. It's like, oh, this team could make a run. And I just think banking on everybody being healthy in the right way is just a little too tough. And that's where it's like, I'm not advocating for the Mavericks blowing everything up, but I just think building around Coop is right because I think Coop is a very special player. I don't know if you've listened to some of the recent shows, but like, I'm just kind of at a loss as to who to compare him to. And that makes it really fun. Because I don't have a good idea. Gafford hurt his back. Okay, that thank you for that, Killer Cam. I'll have to look into that during the show here. That's a good one. I said yes, right? I think I would, but I don't know. That's a really tough one because I really like Cade as a player. But this Mavs team, I've sort of made my peace with them eventually, like just finding a way to start over. They're gonna play like 4,500, what is it? They're going to win 0.45% of their games. They're going to lose just enough to piss us off, but they're going to win just enough to I don't know. This is a good question though. What's your answer?
Let me give you the harder question here. If the league if you were Nico and the league came to you and said, this has to be top secret, but you're going to do this deal and you're gonna get Anthony Davis back for Luka, but we're gonna grant you Cooper Flagg. Not saying that's what happened. Mm-hmm. If that's what they came to you and said, though, would you take that deal?
No.
Okay.
I mean, and this is nothing. This is not a Cooper thing. It's just it's like Luka Doncic is cruising towards being on his like 6th All NBA team before he's 30. It's like that's. Yeah, expecting that from a number 1 draft pick, even a guy like Cooper. I had high expectations for Cooper, but they were almost all of them defensive based because he's such a good defensive player. Him being this good on offense, Jason Kidd had some pregame, it was either pregame or off day quotes about how the Mavericks could see it. Bullshit. Like nobody saw this. I don't care what anybody says. Like this guy he's an evolutionary basketball player that's sort of learning. like the Jurassic Park, like the Raptors, where they're like learning how to open doors and shit. That's
Yes,
what Cooper
exactly.
Flagg is.
He's a
He's like,
raptor.
and
He's a
the
very
league ought to be afraid.
intelligent monster.
That's right.
There are two things that I like about Coop that I like a lot better than Luka, which came to light tonight. Number one, there was a play where he got hammered, just the shit beaten out of him and knocked to the ground, and it was a blatant foul. And instead of staying on his end of the court to cry to the refs, he got back down the other side so that we had 5-on-5. And I appreciate that. And then the other thing is that there were a lot of times where Luka just wasn't hitting his threes, but he wanted to do it. So he would just keep step back three, miss, step back three, miss. And Cooper is very willing to just go and get the 2 points from 10 feet away. And I mean, this was a rare night, right, where he was under 50% shooting. But he's a guy that, like, to me, it just makes too much sense when you're in the fourth quarter and the other team, when the other team hits a three, you don't have to go 3 for 3. You can just find an open shot from 10 feet and take it and have a 70% chance of hitting it or whatever he shoots from in the paint and get it. So I'm not saying I would have done that deal, but I'm saying there are a lot of things I love about Cooper Flagg better than Luka already.
Right, they're such wildly different players, and that's the thing that as a Mavs fan for a long time, I sort of have a hard time wrapping my brain around. And that during my time as a Mavs fan, which coincides with Dirk punking Utah, like them finally beating Utah in the playoffs, that was when I was really started, like when I was like, all right, I'm going to root for this team. You know, call me a front runner or whatever. I was 14. But
okay, yeah.
3 different superstar guys that are different doesn't really begin to explain how like truly unique the 3 players are. Where it's, you know, you get, you know, a big man archetype, like, I don't know, like, you know, Shaq was obviously an incredibly special all-time player, but like a back to the basket center, we've seen that before. You know, you never seen maybe a guy play like his force, but like Dirk, so unique with the kind of jumper. I found a Samaki Walker clip today on the internet of
Samaki.
Of Samaki talking about how amazing Dirk was and how Dirk's trainer was like doing stuff that now everybody does, but doing it 20 years ago. And so it's like to go from that to Cooper, to Luka, who is just so naturally gifted on top of being an S-tier psychopath. So it's like those two things really mixed together. And now we get Cooper, he's kind of like basketball Batman. Like, I don't really know what to expect from him.
What a great analogy. Yes, that's fantastic.
Like, he's a superhero, but he's doing it in such a different way. And just the mid-range post stuff that you're talking about, his ability to get to a spot and get a clean look off. I mean, you mentioned he was under 50%. That's because 3 or 4 of his final buckets were like him putting it near the rim so AD could go get it.
Yeah.
And like, that's just a gift. So anyway, I hate to talk this much on the show that's supposed to be for you guys.
No, that's great. Cooper is, look, it's great that we don't have to make these decisions. We don't have to decide whether we would trade him for Cade Cunningham. We don't have to decide whether we would do that Luka deal. Wonderful. Nemby, you talked about in the post-game show. I think the reason he didn't play the fourth quarter is that there was a play at the end of, where did I make a note? 10:47 left in the second quarter. He gets it's a 2-on-1. Nemby's just standing there, but the guy, the Detroit guy misses the bunny. And Nemby, instead of making some kind of effort to get the rebound, he just stands there and lets them get the get the follow-up shot. And I would imagine that that's a teaching moment where Kid pulled him aside and said, you play hard no matter what the situation is, even if you think it's going to be a guaranteed bunny for easy play for the other team. But he did one
interesting theory. Okay.
Yeah, he had a play that was definitely lacking in hustle. PJ almost cost us the game with 27 seconds left with that. So AD blocks a shot. It goes right into PJ's hands, and he can't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was pretty bad.
Not knocking him. I love PJ. I would not trade PJ for most things, but I was really angry at that moment there. The refereeing. Listen, man, I'm okay with them saying this Detroit playing in their honor. Let's go with the bad boys. Let's call it as if Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer are playing here, and just let both sides do it. But can you just announce that to the players and say this is how we're gonna, and then consistently do it? Because I think they just went back and forth between saying we're just going to let everybody play, and then they were like, let's call some fouls now. And then it's like, okay, now we've called some fouls. Let's go back to letting anything happen. That's not cool. They need to do it. Just let you know, I bought a Starlink. So next week I'm going hiking. I'm going on an RV trip, and just so that I can call into this show, I got a RV. I got a Starlink. So you need to have a Mavs party on one of the nights, please. Not all of them.
Do you follow Dalton Trigg on Twitter?
I don't think so. Should I follow him?
Well,
Probably.
So Dalton Trigg used to write for Mike Fisher's Dallas basketball site.
I love Mike Fisher. Yeah,
positive people in Mavs land. He lives in like rural Mississippi and has gotten the Starlink stuff and just raves about it. So you should be it. Hopefully it'll work out well for you.
I rented an RV. This is gonna be my new life, man. I want to rent RVs like all 2026. I want to spend half my life in RVs, rolling around, checking out different hiking places and exploring different states near Nevada.
Yes.
But that's my plan for next week. We got 3 games, right? You said so.
Yeah. So just for full disclosure on that, it's worth noting. So the Christmas stuff is going to be weird. Josh I'm driving across the country on Monday or Tuesday, and Josh has basically forbade me from working. He's like, I don't want you to be like sick. So the Christmas one we might have because I'm not sure. It's just tough because I'm not going to be at my house. So I'm not sure how we're going to be doing we're going to have podcasts, but I don't know if we'll have this one. So maybe on Christmas.
Just of the 3 games, one Mavs party. Can we do that?
Noted. I can't promise which though. I just don't know because it's the Christmas day is the one where I'm definitely going to be around internet. The other 2 I might literally be driving, so I'm not sure.
Okay, Christmas Day is fine. I'm going to be there for Christmas. That's the whole thing, and I definitely be watching the Mavericks game that day. You'll catch me on a variety of illegal substances, but I'm at my best.
Well, I'll talk with you soon, man. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great game tonight. Always great, Kirk. Have a great holidays.
Talk soon. All right. It was Glenn. I'm going to insert some ads here for the audio listeners. We'll be right back, and then we got a few more people, and we'll close it out. Thanks for listening. All right. Before I bring Ash Boying on, I see someone in the bottom there named Daniel, and it says your devices are not connected. So if you can hear the show, make sure that your audio or video or one of the things is connected. Otherwise, I can't bring you up at all. It won't let me. All right. Mr. Ash Boying, how are you?
How are you this evening?
Good. It's nice. It was a fun game. Very weird.
It was. You were talking about that Utah series where they finally beat him in that 5-game series.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who hit the final shot. Was that Calvin Booth?
Calvin Booth. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was Michael Finley traveled like nobody's business. It is a huge, hilarious travel. You can go find the entire 4th quarter on YouTube, and it's just a knife fight. And Finley takes like a multi-step back, and then he just finds Booth underneath the hoop for a nice reverse layup.
I remember that. I was actually in the building for that game.
Wild.
And I remember I was on the aisle and I was just jumping up and down. I fell down the stairs and rolled down the stairs.
That's good.
So anyway, much younger then, so I was able to get back up. But Yeah, part of this game I think showed, Cooper's line kind of shows that he's 18 years old, because this was kind of a grown man game, and there were some shots in the lane that I felt like a 22, 23-year-old Cooper probably hits, but
Okay.
an 18-year-old still developing body Cooper does not finish that shot. Now, I also think we should have taken a lot more free throws, but that's a referee problem and not a Cooper problem.
Right.
I still think that his thumb's got something to do with his shooting, because he cannot buy a 3-point shot, but he can shoot 80% from the line. Or tonight he was 7 of 7.
Yeah.
And his jump shot looks pretty pure when he's in the mid range. So, it just, I don't know what the story is on the 3 ball, but I just want to think that maybe it's his thumb. He's not being able to get
Like a lot
enough.
of demarcation when he was at Duke last year, where he was shooting horribly from 3, and then something clicks and he just starts hitting 40, 45.
Well, that was the semester break, and his coach came down, had a shooting session with him, and then from like January 6th to the end of the season, he shot 42.5% from 3. I've actually done an analysis on that. So that was the issue. His coach came down and they tweaked his shooting range, his shooting motion. I just think I'm thinking the thumb's got something to do with it, though. I mean, that's just my
Look. They don't look anything like his other shots.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Moving on to the Mathurin rumor. Would you trade Gafford, Marshall, and that 2029 Lakers pick for Mathurin?
Oh no, I thought it was literally like just Gafford. I wouldn't trade any 29. I wouldn't trade a pick for virtually anything.
I've heard that maybe they won't do that straight up for Mathurin. Now, also I've heard that Indiana, historically Indiana doesn't want to pay people.
Right.
And they're paying Halliburton, they're paying Siakam, and they're probably not going to want to pay Mathurin. And Gafford's cost controlled. Obviously, you do that deal every day. I mean, honestly, if it's straight up Gafford for Mathurin, you do that. I'd do that deal every day. But I just get the feeling that Indiana's going to want something a little bit more than just Gafford. So
I'm not sure, because his role, like, he just doesn't. At this point, he just sort of strikes me as he's fine. He's a rotation guy, but it's like exchanging a rotation big for a rotation guardish person. Like, I'm not super sold on Mathurin about anything other than the fact that he's got that dog in him, and I like that.
Well, he's got that dog in him. He's shooting 42% from 3 this year, and that kind of tracks with what he did in college. I mean, he was a shooter coming out of college. I think he's finally figured out the NBA 3. If you can get a guy that's shooting 42% on 7.5 3-point shots a game, you probably got to trade for that guy if you get a chance. That's my opinion. But the other thing that I want to think about is you guys are real high on PG. I think at the end of the day, that in order to build around Cooper, you're probably going to have to trade PJ this summer, because I just don't see anybody else grabbing a bunch of picks.
No, he's the guy that I think you get the best dollar for, like, the return. I think he's the one that you're just, if the Mavericks were to trade him, he's the guy that would get the return everyone would be the most pleased with.
Well, yeah, but I think you can probably trade AD for you're probably not pleased with the return for AD, but I think he brings back the most assets. So
Okay.
However, I saw a Miami pick, a Miami trade today where the Mavericks got Ware and a 26 first for AD, essentially.
I would lose my mind. That would be I would love that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Lose your mind in a good way, yeah. Because I think Ware and Cooper would be just dynamic on the floor together.
Right. I mean, because it's you. If you heard, I'm pretty sure you heard Josh and I. It's like AD is so good at things that he doesn't really like doing.
Right.
It's like me and my day job. I don't really like doing my day job, but it pays the fucking bills, so I do it so I can screw around and do this.
Right. No, I get that too, and I just think Ware and Cooper would be, just fantastic on the floor together.
Ware's an interesting player for sure.
And quite frankly, I think that Ware's one of those guys that in the future is going to be able to guard Wembanyama better than most, and that's in the future. That's going to be a consideration for almost anybody. I also think that Washington becomes a really hot commodity because of the fact that he just plays so well against Oklahoma City. And historically he's just killed them. And I think teams are going to start looking around because someone's going to have to figure out how to beat Oklahoma City. They're just a juggernaut, and they're going to be that way for a few years. So, how do you do that? Well, grab the players that do well against them. If I were the Lakers, I would give up, my 26 number one and my 31 number one just for Washington, because you saw what Doncic and PJ together did to them 2 years ago.
Right.
I think that if I were the Lakers, I'd probably do that. And I think that might actually be a trade that everybody might be exploring. However, I don't think the Mavericks, to be honest with you, would ever make another trade with the Lakers again until Doncic retires, because it would just be a bad PR move. So that's all I've got today. High school football really cranks up tomorrow.
Oh man, I wish I could go this weekend. I wish I could go.
I can't go either because I'm picking my son up at the airport, which is going to be a joyous occasion since we haven't seen him for a year. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, I think we're going to drive down to College Station. Somebody offered him some tickets because he's a Marine and they like military guys down there at College Station. So we may actually be able to get on the sidelines for that game. So
you got to go do that.
Well, yeah. We also got offered to be on the sidelines for the OU game because he used to play Pee Wee football with the Bowen brothers. I don't know if you're aware of Oklahoma football much, but he played Pee Wee football with the Bowen brothers, and they were talking about, hey, maybe we could get you on ABC with a sideline interview. So, but
sounds like
that's not going to happen. Well, yeah, he's not getting in until Saturday night because and they're playing Friday night. So we're going to be in College Station hopefully Saturday, and we're going to miss the high school playoffs. So
yeah, gonna be some barn burners. That South Lake game is just that was just a generational football game.
What else was too? I don't know if you watched it. You can go to Victory Plus to catch the replay. That Lone Star Alito game.
I missed this one. I'll have to go find it.
No, Lone Star is down by 17 to Alito with 5 minutes left to play, and they came back and won.
Oh my God!
It was just crazy.
Poor kids. That would haunt me for the rest of my life.
But yes, that DeSoto South Lake game was crazy as well. And the funny part about it is in 6A you've got two teams. The Houston teams are from the same district, and the Dallas teams are from the same district.
That's so funny.
It's really funny. So
all right, well, we'll talk when we talk. If not until Christmas or after, you have a good one. Okay.
Well, you be safe on your trips.
Oh yes, sir. Talk to you.
All right, bud. Bye.
All right, I see we got my buddy Isaac, and we got Doe. Doe, are you down there? Because I know you want to go to bed because you're old. There he is. How you doing, buddy? What's up?
I'm doing good. I had plenty of sleep after my surgery. They gave me general anesthesia, so I slept like half the day. So I'm good.
All right. What do you want to talk about from this one?
Well, first of all, is Kid trying to purposely tank us? That fourth quarter decision to keep to not call a timeout and bring in some of the starters and not playing Nimhard. I'm like, what are you doing?
Classic Kidism, though. He wants him to figure it out.
D'Angelo Russell too. I'm like, what are we doing here? I mean, what purpose do we have to play D'Angelo Russell when everybody's healthy and we got Christie on the bench too? In addition to Nimhard and Williams, Williams out there, I think, though. But
Yes,
it didn't make any sense.
Jason Kidd coaching decisions will never make. He'll get asked about him, and then the reason he'll give will only make you madder. That's just kind of how he operates.
Yeah, I try not to get too mad about that, but you were saying like player equivalents to previous Mavs. I think Nembhard is pretty similar to JJ Barea,
Yes.
in stature and in style in some ways.
Stature, maybe. I mean, Barea was such a scorer, such a gifted scorer. And I think Nembhard is a really true. I mean, he's gotten much better at shooting. That I have to give him credit for. But he really likes the pass. He sees he's like a quarterback who throws guys open. He's really talented at that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, another equivalent that's kind of close, I think, is Sean Marion and PJ Washington. Except for PJ has a not as ugly shot.
Yeah, but the second jump ability and just the maximizing the combination of athleticism and basketball talent. I like that one. Marion's is a tough one for me just because he's probably one of my favorite players of all time. I used to hate him so much before he joined the Mavericks because he was like one of the
when he was with
guys.
the Suns. Yeah,
because he was one of the only guys who could really bother Dirk. I mean, back in those days, it was like him and Bruce Bowen who would cheap shot everyone, and Marion was just a flat out good defender.
Oh yeah, with the long arms too and the quickness.
Yeah,
and then the equivalent for Cooper, that's a hard one, but I think it'd be Kawhi. Except for I think he has a better left hand than Kawhi.
Well, it's like if to me, it's like my thoughts on the Kawhi comparison is if Kawhi gave a shit all the time.
Right. If he had his motor going on all the time.
Yeah. Kawhi just looks like he's sort of, swimming in an empty lake half the time. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to be a psychopath every now and again. Whereas Cooper's just nuts all the time.
Yeah. It was amazing. He had 3 blocks too.
Well, see, that's where we've not seen enough of the defensive elements of Coop. Coop is a great defender. And I think as he learns, he's like the guy, he's a guy who learns people's tendencies. I think we'll see his defensive stuff go up as the year goes along, and he'll just get more box score stats. But he's an incredible defensive player.
And that left hand is like well advanced. I mean, most NBA players can go left and right, but he shoots left too on layups. I mean, with ease. I mean, it's so natural, It's almost as good as Kyrie going left, but Kyrie can shoot left too, a little jump shot left, within 10, 15 feet. But it's amazing, the level of effort and stuff. And the kid is evolving and learning so fast. I could have never thought that he would be this good at this stage. And all those Coop haters early on, I'm glad they're eating crow right now.
Well, and so much of his early stuff, I think we'll look back years from now and be like, remember when Kidd put him in an impossible situation?
Yeah, that wasn't fair.
Yeah,
at all.
So he's just really worked it out. And but the ball handling stuff, the situational things, he was playing he was running the offense down the stretch tonight. I mean, he just did a great job. It's funny. When right after we got the number 1 pick in the lottery, I had on my friend from the Ringer, J. Kyle Mann, and we did about a 20-minute podcast. And if you haven't listened to it or you need something to listen to, go find it. It's back in like May. And he talks about what kind of processor Cooper is in terms of being just a basketball problem solver. And I didn't really understand it. Now I understand it. And seeing him figure out how to be a great player is really, really impressive.
It is. And just like you said earlier, our number 1 option in the offense should be running things, through Coop, and AD should be, like you said, in the secondary position, It just makes sense. Oh yeah. It takes the pressure off of him too, But man, these trade rumors, it got me really excited when you said possibly Ware and a first round draft pick for AD. Man, that would be a dream. That kid has long range too, and he's got a lot of tools that he still just barely hadn't even tapped.
Where's
In the timeline.
He's also kind of an against the Mavs all-star who's like
Mhm.
a guy who puts up more numbers against us than he does anyone else.
Yeah,
So.
it just seems like certain players just like get up for us or torches us, It's crazy, but it is what it is, But the defense tonight was excellent. We had 14 blocks in regulation.
I loved it. Loved it. It was very fun, very aggressive.
Right. And despite everything else, I know organically we won't be able to hold the lineup together because of injuries and stuff, but it is exciting to see them win. And you know me, I want them to get a high draft pick, but at the same time, I still enjoy the wins because I know they're going to be rare.
Well, I mean, they've won. They've won a lot recently, so
against good teams too.
Yeah,
right.
I'm not so. I'm still down on them as far as I don't really see the point of trying to become an 8 seed only to get waxed by Oklahoma City. Like that doesn't sound fun to me. But they're gonna. I would put a soft floor on them right now at like 32 games, like 32 to 37 games is where I sort of see them finishing the year. We'll see.
I just hope it doesn't cost them a true lottery pick.
And that's where I don't think you can worry about that because the teams that are good at tanking don't have good players. That's why they're good at tanking because it's a result of having bad basketball players, and we just have lots of good ones, and maybe they don't fit together perfectly, but they're on a long enough timeline, talent tends to win out.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, the Spurs definitely look good now that Wemby's back. Did you watch the Cup?
Well, I took a break. I was following along, but I didn't really watch very much.
That OKC game with Wemby there was amazing. He was plus 21
and like
when he was in the game.
He didn't play that much.
No, he didn't, because he was coming back from injury. That was just amazing how disjointed OKC looked when Wemby was in the game, clogging the lane. It was an awesome game. Anyways, thanks, Kirk. Appreciate you a whole lot. Merry Christmas and safe travels, my friend.
Thanks. Talk soon. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Last but not least, the homie Isaac. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not bad. A little tired now. Just kind of hit me in the last 10 minutes, but that's fine. What's going on?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I heard you talking about the estimated wins total, and I think I'm ready to take the over.
I know you are. You wrote down that the Mavericks would be the 3rd seed in the West in our season predictions.
that was in October. All right. I'm an optimist, but I was also trying to buck the trend a little bit because everybody was so pessimistic. I'm like, I'll go for my realistic prediction would have been 47. They're not going to get that either. But
I put the floor because I think they trade someone. Like I think the Mavericks. Did you know the Mavericks have made trades for 8 straight trade deadlines? 8 straight.
That sounds right. Like I don't know them offhand, but that sounds right.
I did a piece on this, so it just sort of lives in the brain on this one. Mm-hmm. And so it's like if they trade, like let's just say they decide to hold on to Anthony Davis.
Right.
I still think that maybe they move Gafford, maybe they move Clay. Clay, as I've repeated on this show a few times, is kind of to me, he's the linchpin that makes the minutes 1 to 43 work. Like the crunch time stuff's a little different because then they start doing more ISO. But it's like Clay running around the floor. I mean, hell, Clay almost won the game tonight because he was a release valve.
Yeah. I sort of love that he got that shot, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
But no, I mean, they're 11-17 right now. They were 5-15 3 weeks ago. Obviously, they're not going to continue at the 6-2 clip, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're near 500 at the end of the season. Not like you're saying, that doesn't really matter because they're just going to get the 8 seed if they do that, and nobody's beating OKC this year. But I think this team's got some pieces. I don't think they're going to lose 55, 58 games.
Well, I mean, the fact that the floor, because I think they, the Mavericks have made trades for 8 straight What would that put them on the other side?
24 to 27. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see it either, because the games that they'll win are the games that will drive the fan base crazy. Like that, this is what they've done the past 2 years, and not so much last year. But okay, no, it was the Western Conference year, and the finals one year where the Mavericks absolutely ate in March and April. Like they went on huge, and those are the games where frenemy of the show, Matt Moore, will say, well, these games aren't indicative of anything because teams are giving up. But it's like, that's true. And that's really where Kid will, kind of pad your win total stats by winning these games just on like sheer effort.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, who knows if we start the season more solidly where we are right now? Like, we might be fighting for a top 8, top 6 seed, but we didn't, and we are where we are.
They had finished 10-10 to start their first 20 games, as opposed to what were they? They were something
5 and 15.
5 and 15. Yeah. Then I really do think it's a different deal. I sort of think that I do wonder about our GM getting fired, but it's like I kind of think he gets fired anyways because the atmosphere was so damn toxic. But like the feel of the season, if they had just started a little better, like it makes you wonder with some of these clutch games. They play so many damn clutch time games. If they just have like a slightly better record, is it different?
And I will say on a personal note, this is probably later than most people, but this was the first Mavericks game I've watched where I didn't think once about the fact that we made that trade. So probably later than most people, but for me, like it was the first game start to finish where I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about where would we be with Luka. Like I was just fully bought into this team might not be very good, but they're fun to watch. They're going to give it all every night. And I like that.
This is a great tweet from Chuck Cooperstein, voice of the Dallas Mavericks. What a wild night. Have you ever seen a team win by taking 33 fewer shots than their opponents?
I put that in the grades post tonight. I was like, they got 30 less shots and they won. It was insane.
What a bizarre. Some of the Mavericks wins this year have laugh out loud things where it's like, if they do, like, hear me out here. If they do happen to go on like a really horrid losing streak, where they lose like 8 of 10, you can look at some of these games where they pulled stuff out of their ass to win, and it's like, but I don't care. I have fun
writing on the walls.
I have fun with the weird wins because it's like sometimes you got 5 or 6 games every year that are absolute toss-up games, and this is one of them for me at least.
Yeah. No, I think I read Met's piece this morning about like the pitfalls of tanking basically. And I think she makes some good points. Like and we were kind of talking about this in Slack earlier. All I'm trying to say is I don't think that this organization is going to try to lose games. I obviously know that players never try to lose games, but I don't think we're going to see healthy scratches for Cooper Flagg. I don't think we're going to see healthy scratches for PJ Washington. I think that they're going to play their lineups to the end of the year. And that's all I want, whether we win 30 or 20 games. Like
I think almost from a business perspective that's true on its face, because this organization lost so much fan support with the Luka thing, and having, and this is just the way the NBA is now, like having a team that puts out a competitive looking lineup every night sells tickets.
Right. And it's just like, what does this team look like with Kyrie back? It might not be much of a difference because he's going to be, obviously older, coming off an ACL tear, but he's got to add something, you'd think. And so, I don't know. This team's going to be interesting to watch when we get to March and April. Whether that's interesting as a 12th seed or interesting as an 8th seed, I don't know yet.
No, it's definitely fun. It's definitely fun because it's what I was very, very worried about was this when it was 5 and 15. What I was very, very worried about was, what am I going to talk about for the next 60 games? Right. And the 10 games that we played since we're in that situation, every game's been interesting. And even some of the other games were like, there's been very few games where it's like, oh, this was a waste of time. And I think you can
really just the OKC game.
Well, and maybe this is not the best judge, but it's like we have roughly 25 people that write for Mavs Moneyball. Of those 25 people, 15 are kind of in the Slack all the time, once
Yeah.
a day. And during games, tonight was a great example where it's like you have 15 people talking about the game. Like there's just an interest there. And
Right.
yeah, obviously we write for a basketball website. There should be some interest, but it's like, people like, it's not like any of us, like we all make some like beer money from this. Like we don't really, it's not work. We're not making money off this. This is like it's a labor of love with like a little bit of an expense check for your time. And it's the fact
suffering.
that people are choosing to watch most games, I think is pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, you talk about Kidd, the decisions of the coach and how they make you scratch your head. Maybe he'll get a promotion at the end of this year. I've seen a lot of tweets floating that idea.
It's the best. It's the best. Well, good. It's about 12 o'clock. What do you say we call it a night?
Sounds good. I'll see you after the next one. Hopefully we win that one too.
Yeah, 6 o'clock game on Saturday. Everybody look forward
Yes,
to that.
sir.
All right. Talk to you soon, Isaac. Okay, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Saturday game, 6 o'clock, which means earlier everything. Please consider hanging out with us. This has been a great time. Go Mavs.